Hey guys, how's it going? Don't mind the pen. The stylus actually. I just like to have something in my hand. I'm very fidgety that way. I haven't really released anything on this channel in a while, and I don't, my garbage channel, as I've come to call it as of late. And I don't really know how many people even really watch this channel anymore. I mean, obviously the subscriber count is a little over 2,000, but that's hardly indicative of the actual view count that I'm gonna receive. But yeah, it's been a while since I really put anything here, aside from that transistor video a little while back, and that was just kind of an experiment to see how people reacted. The reaction was minimal. But anyways, by the way, before I say anything else, I do want to, I guess I just wanted to, I don't know, do a little vlog where I just talk about my thoughts, really, because I'm just kind of bored today. I have some free time, and I've just been thinking about stuff lately, and I guess I just wanted to just talk about YouTube and how it's kind of changed and how I sort of feel like a fish out of water. And before I continue, I do want to make something clear, because somebody might, it's not my intention to imply this, but somebody might get the impression based on what I'm about to say, I guess, is that like I'm announcing like I'm done with YouTube or some shit, or no, I still plan on making more brick wall short cartoons. That's because that's the current thing I'm excited about right now, and that I have enthusiasm to do. And mostly the reason I haven't released one in a while is because I've just started my junior year of college, and so I'm trying to readjust to my new schedule and moving into my new apartment, which I'm in right now, which is fucking awesome, by the way. Living alone, that's some cool shit. A lot of peace and quiet, which I, as an introvert, very much value. But yeah, I guess this is just me sharing my thoughts. This is not me saying I'm going to change the way I do things, really. It's just me sort of talking and just putting something out there on my backup account and, seeing what comes back. Feel free to comment or don't. I'm honestly, it's up to you. I don't really care. What I'm going to talk about, I guess you could consider this like a follow-up to my video about why I'm not making another Zelda Bridge series, in a sense. Like, it's kind of a follow-up to that, or an expansion on that, or the things I said there. Because I never went into too much detail, but it kind of feeds into what I'm talking about YouTube changing, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to point out these changes, but I guess I wanted to talk about it through my perspective. So I guess without further ado, if it's been like 3 minutes already. But, when I started making YouTube videos back in 2009, it was a very spur-of-the-moment kind of thing, It was very much just this thing I did just to do it. It was very much just something I started as a hobby, and it still is basically a hobby for me. I haven't really ever thought of YouTube as a career, but I digress, which I've done many times so far. I will continue to do that, but, I remember because I watched Adam West Lapdog's stuff, and I looked at that, and my entire thought process was, that looks fun, I want to do the same thing too, that was it. And then from that point forward, I started this abridged thing, and then unexpectedly amassed an actual audience, which was surprising. And then after amassing that audience, I started, becoming more self-aware and self-conscious of the stuff I was putting out there, and started upping the standard, started putting more effort into it, because I'm like, oh shit, people are actually watching this, I should try harder. And, I improved over time, which, but, for most of my YouTube, I guess, well, career, for lack of a better word, but for most of my time on YouTube, or as a YouTuber, if I wanted to use that as a term, it was just sort of this fun little part of my life that I indulged in every once in a while. It was never something that, it was just very much a hobby, and it was like that for a while, but I watched, slowly, this wasn't like an instant thing, but I slowly watched YouTube go through a lot of changes, and I really started seeing, I guess, the minimum standards of what qualified as decent content. Like, that kind of went up over time. There was a time when what Adam West Lapdog was doing was totally, that kind of video could thrive, Adam West, and, I'm sure he would agree with me in saying that, yeah, Adam West Lapdog stuff, as well as a lot of my Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time stuff, I'm throwing myself in this band, in here too, but his videos were edited like shit, his voice acting was shit, The writing wasn't great, but that doesn't mean, but there was still like a charm and some funny stuff in there. But that in the older YouTube, that kind of content could thrive because professionalism wasn't really a thing. You know, a lot of times YouTube was just it was a hobby for a lot of people, and it was just something that, you know, people just did in their spare time. And so a video like Adam West Lapdog, you could overlook the crappy production values because there was still, again, there was that charm to it. Again, I'm not knocking Adam West Lapdog. I owe the guy a lot because if I hadn't watched his stuff, I wouldn't have made my own content, and I wouldn't have met people like Taverpon, my friend Tony, and his girlfriend Haley, who, you know, I consider very close friends, and I talk to them on a regular basis. So I met a lot of great people doing this YouTube thing, and I got to get a lot of nice feedback from that. So, but anyways, I'm digressing. But again, content like Adam West Lapdogs could thrive in the older YouTube, but then I started seeing, you know, as YouTube grew, the standards started going up, and I started watching all these people I was subscribed to. You know, people like Egoraptor, who early on made these very crudely drawn cartoons, but he was making this, but then he was making, I mean, his fucking Luigi's Ballad music videos, fucking, like, just compared to his earlier animations, even just the last few he's done, it's amazing how, like, the production values have gone up. I mean, you have things like an actual YouTube studio where people like Tom Scott who were making very silly stuff, and now, I mean, for fuck's sake, this guy's gone to like they have fucking studios with green screens and all this shit. I mean, people started, you know, there were more people uploading content with HD footage and high quality microphones. I mean, for fuck, even I broke down and got a high quality microphone because sound quality is important to me. It is important to me, you know? Because and it's like I'm at a point where I got to a point where I couldn't stand low quality sound, you know, in my webcam microphone. I'm listening to myself like, oh, this sounds horrible. But basically, I guess the minimum standards of what qualified as decent content on YouTube just kept rising. And eventually, I found all of these other people that I've been following for so long. They were making that transition. But I felt like I was left in the fucking dust, you know. People are uploading stuff in HD, 1080p, high quality sound, high quality stuff. They're producing stuff that's almost indistinguishable from like a studio made, like, you know, I'm seeing these animators like Chris O'Neill, Hot Diggity Demon, Egoraptor, who were making, you know, much very crudely drawn stuff. Are now releasing content that's almost indistinguishable from like something that was made professionally by a team of people, and there are people who are collaborating. These individuals are collaborating with each other and making stuff like this, and I guess YouTube is now a place, it seems, where it is. And again, like I said, I'm obviously not the first person to make this observation, but, you know, I was seeing all these people, like, these were jobs to these people now. These were no longer just, you know, what may have started as a hobby for a lot of these people became careers. You know, the term professional YouTuber, you can use that with a straight face now. Because that's an actual thing. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people who have, like, YouTube is their fucking actual job. Like, that's what they do, and they've dedicated all their time now and their resources and money into professionally running YouTube channels, as if it was an actual fucking TV program. So I'm seeing all these other people treating YouTube like a business, and here I am, still making these. What am I doing? I'm getting this walkthrough footage that I've just pulled from other people's channels. I mean, I made sure to credit them when but in the description, but it was still a hobby to me. It was still something that I was just indulging in every once in a while for fun. And it still kind of is that. I've never really... I feel like all these people around me that I'm subscribed to made that transition into this much more professional YouTube kind of thing. And I'm still one of the people who still sees YouTube as a hobby. And I guess I feel like a fish out of water, you know? I don't feel like... Maybe it's just because I'm subscribed to professionals, and those are the only people I'm subscribed to. So maybe there are still people who see YouTube as exclusively a hobby, but I feel like I'm one of those few people left. I just feel like YouTube grew up, and I didn't really grow up with it. You know, I'm still a child playing pretend, not an adult creating content. And again, that doesn't mean I don't have the desire to, you know, get better at what I'm doing. I'm still driven to get better at what I'm doing, but again, it's still a hobby. I mean, I don't think I don't even really, what am I saying? I don't think I know. I've never even monetized any of my content yet because I didn't know I was ready to make that transition. Also because my, Zelda abridged videos, I took content from other people, walkthrough content from other people's channels, and I feel like that'd be shitty to monetize that because that's like, that's mostly not my content. The writing and the voices and stuff was my, me, but that'd be shitty to just like, I'm gonna take your content and make money. Like, yeah, that was too shady for me. By the way, I'm not even condemning people who do that, or if like someone else decided to monetize it. So I don't want to, because that makes it sound like I'm elitist. Like I'm like, I would never do that. Those other people. It isn't a self-righteousness thing. I'm just saying how I feel. But anyways, yeah, and that played a huge role into why I kind of stopped doing the Zelda Bridge thing. Because the whole idea of doing a Zelda Bridge series, it was something that was relevant back when I started on YouTube, back in 2009. But that's not the kind of thing that flies on YouTube anymore. That's not the type of thing that people do on YouTube anymore. People are making careers on YouTube, producing professionally made shows. People producing stuff on like virtually the same level as you'd see on a television program. It's really weird. And it's not something I'm just not one of those people that made that transition into the professional YouTube world. And I don't know if I ever will be. I guess that was just a huge thing. I guess I'm seeing all these people around me release professional content, and like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm making these I'm talking over cheaply gathered footage, walkthrough footage of a video game and goofy voices. What the hell am I doing? Like, what am I even doing here? And again, but like I said, it's not the only reason. I also wanted to focus on Flash animation. I wanted to move on to something. I wanted to produce content that I myself could look at and say, hey, I'm proud of this video I made. Look at this. Because yeah, again, I was getting sick of the Zelda Bridge thing too. I kind of outgrew that. So I'm not saying, just because it's not just because I didn't feel like I was professional, that's the only reason I quit. But that was a big reason. I'm just seeing all these people make stuff at a much higher level of quality, of content around me, and I'm still making, I'm still, again, like I said, a child with a silly hobby instead of an adult producing content. Anyways, I think I've repeated the same sentiment over and over again. Anyways, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like I said, this isn't going to affect any... I still plan to release more Brick Wall shorts because I enjoy doing them. I enjoy having those ideas and then animating them. So that's still been a lot of fun, but... I don't know. Am I the only one who feels this way? I'm sure I'm not. I'm not subscribed to anybody else. There's nobody I'm subscribed to that's ever expressed this sentiment, so I'm sure I'm not the only person to point this out, but... Anyone else feel the same way? Because... I don't know. This video's gone on for 13 minutes. I guess, but that was it. I was just sharing my thoughts. I might do more vlogs on this channel out of boredom, but I don't know. Stay to YouTube. Different place than it used to be. I'm not one of the people who made that transition. I feel out of place now, but maybe I'm not alone in feeling this way. Anyways, take care, guys. If I have any other stupid rambling thoughts enter my brain, I might post another video. But until then, see ya.